Chapter 15. Back to the Woleb. Has your mum or dad ever burned the dinner? Or maybe a piece of toast at breakfast time? Do you remember what it smelled like? It's horrible, isn't it? Well, that very same smell suddenly wafted up Lucy's nostrils. Hot! 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 The Creakers cried, as the first pools of wonderful morning sunlight reached the basket they were trapped in and cut through the bars like knives. Lucy looked down and gasped as she saw their black skin puffing up like bubbling treacle at the first drop of light. "Let us go!" Grunt growled. "Oh my goodness, I'm sorry," Lucy said, leaping from the basket at once. She lifted it off the four creatures and rushed to the curtains to draw them properly, buying them some time. But when she turned back round, her heart thumped in her chest. The Creakers were tugging her dad's grubby coat off Ella's floppy, sleeping body. "Hey, that's my dad's!" cried Lucy. "Stupid little kidderling! Never trust a Creaker!" Grunt cried, as he put the coat on himself, wearing it like a royal robe. Then, in a split second, he slid underneath Lucy's bed, much faster than Lucy had seen them move before. Guff, Scratch, and Snitch followed, giggling and laughing in their weird, twisted way as they slipped into the blackness below. "No!" Lucy cried, but it was too late. They'd gone, along with her dad's coat, back to their backwards Woleb. She quickly shook Ella. "Wake up, you sleepyhead!" But I only like the pink marshmallows," Ella mumbled in her dreamy voice. Lucy jumped onto her bed, bouncing up and down and shaking Norman. "Wake up, you useless boy," she called. "There's no scout badge for sleeping through a crisis." Actually, there is a scout badge for sleeping through a crisis. It looks like this. It was hopeless. Norman and Ella were too heavily under the dozy dust's magic to be woken. Lucy was on her own, and she had to think quickly. "That's right. I've got to think quickly," Lucy told herself firmly. "I'm the only person who knows where the grown-ups are and how to get there. I've got to find Mum. I've got to get her back." Lucy dropped to the floor and peered into the dark space beneath her bed. The wooden boards appeared to be normal, but Lucy knew better now. She reached out slowly and prodded one with her fingertips. The floor wobbled. The wormhole to the Woleb was still open. But as Lucy thought this, the floor gave a little shake, and a bubble rose to the surface and popped, as though it was some sort of living jelly. Lucy pulled her hand back quickly and felt the warmth of the morning sun as it illuminated her room through the thin curtains. "The sunlight must be making the wormhole close," thought Lucy. "That's it. It's now or never." She pulled the straps of her swimming goggles tight, pushed her fringe to one side, took a deep breath, and slid head first into the shadows beneath her bed. The floor swallowed her up whole. In an instant she sank into the squashy, swishy, wobbly-bobbly floor. She was back in the Woleb once more. Lucy tried to relax, to let the sticky walls tighten and stretch around her and finally spit her out into the strange Woleb tunnel. She flipped upside down, or was it downside up? Either way, she felt awfully dizzy again as she toppled onto her bottom next to the hole that led to her bedroom. Suddenly the hole started to glow a glorious orange, like a warm sunrise, before shrinking and disappearing completely. The wormhole must close in the daytime and stop sunlight from getting in, protecting the Creakers and the Woleb from being dusted, Lucy murmured. But that also means I can't get out. I'm stuck down here now, at least until it's night time in Whiffington again. A Creaker laugh echoed down the steamy corridor, and Lucy saw four twisted shadows scurry off in the distance. "We got the stinkerful jacket!" she heard Grunt cackle. "Scratch be using it as a duvet to sleep in. Sniff wants it as a rotten rug. Guff be making a pair of whiffy coat curtains with it. None of yous be having this stinking thing. We be taking it to the king," Grunt hissed. "The king?" Lucy whispered to herself. "All hails the king!" the creepers snapped in unison as they marched deeper into the tunnel. The king of the Creakers. He must be the worst of all of them, Lucy thought. And she was right. The Creaker King was the worst creaker in all the Woleb. But even worse than that, what Lucy didn't yet know was that to rescue the grown-ups and to get her mum back, Lucy was going to have to face him. Don't tell her. Chapter 16. The Marshmallow of Your Dreams. The campfire was warm and cosy, and the smell of toasting marshmallows made Norman's tummy rumble with excitement. He twisted his marshmallow round in the flickering orange flames, getting the most perfectly even toast you could possibly imagine. This one didn't look black and charred like they usually did, and it didn't go all sloppy and fall off his stick. It was golden and crisp. It was warm and bubbling. It was, quite simply, the sort of toasted marshmallow you only see in your dreams. Which is exactly where it was, in Norman's dream. Suddenly his cosy little campfire was interrupted by the most irritating sound Norman had ever heard. It was like a siren wailing through the sky, filling the air with annoyance. Ora! 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 What on earth is that sound? Norman cried, dropping his marshmallow into the flames to cover his ears as the sound got louder. Orma! Orma! Norma! Norman! 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 Norman sat upright in Lucy's bed. Norman! It's me, Ella! Ella called, looking all scruffy and tired. I fell asleep, Norman croaked. Guess so. We both did. You fell asleep too? Uh-huh, Ella yawned, popping on her pink heart-shaped shades to hide her tired eyes from the crack of sunlight coming in through the curtains, making Lucy's bedroom glow. Where's the jacket? Norman asked, noticing that Ella was no longer wearing Lucy's dad's coat. Dunno, Ella said with a shrug. Woke up and it was gone. Norman's brain was only just warming up. He couldn't work out anything yet. He caught Ella's yawn and rubbed his eyes. That's when he noticed the little golden crumbles of sleep fall onto the bedsheets, the little speckles that had been in the corners of his eyes. His heart leapt. Lucy! He gasped. She's not in there, Ella said, as Norman scrambled out of bed and stumbled across to the wardrobe. She's gone? Ella interrupted. Norman nodded. She's probably just downstairs making breakfast. No, Ella, you don't understand. They've snatched her. Ella dipped her head and peered over the top of her sunglasses with a raised eyebrow. Who? The Creakers. They must have snatched her in the night once we fell asleep, Norman whispered, flattening down his sticky up morning hair. Snatched? Really? Ella questioned, seeming rather unconvinced. Really? I guess the first part of the plan must have worked. Plan? What plan? Ella asked. Norman suddenly realised he'd better not tell Ella that they had only invited her round in order to use her as live bait, to lure a bunch of creepy monsters out in the hope of catching them. Well, Ella said, tapping her foot impatiently. Ella, those dreams you had, the ones about the monsters under my bed? Exactly. Those weren't dreams, Ella. They were real. They are real. Who? Ella said. Norman raised a shaky finger, pointing at the shadows under Lucy's bed. The Creakers. Ella jumped in again as she started to realise what was going on and just how serious the situation had become. We need the grown-ups, she said. We need Lucy, said Norman. OK, we're about to dive down into the Woleb with Lucy. Are you ready? You might want to go to the loo before reading this chapter. I'd hate you to have a little accident. No? OK, don't say I didn't warn you. By reading on, you agree that the author accepts no responsibility for any toilet-related mishaps you may have as a result of being scared by the following chapters.